gardens across the country with our CEO in the middle there, Jean-Marc Leger. The company started over 30 years ago. For anyone from Quebec, the brand awareness is way higher there because the Legers are a popular family in Quebec. But he has moved across the country, and we now have offices in Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Quebec City as well. So we are a privately held company. We're market researchers. We have a boutique style of delivering market research to our clients. Our team's experienced. We have global partnerships across the world with independent research companies like ourselves. So we're not like a big TNS or Ipsos type company that has a location everywhere. We partnered with the best of the independents across the world. So we typically work with them. And we have, of course, bilingual capabilities, which the survey I'll present or the findings I'll present questions were asked in both languages across the country. And we have our own panel, which is also what we use to collect this research. So at Leger, check it out. It's the app is called Leo, so Leger Opinion. And you can answer surveys. Everyone likes to give their opinion. Not everyone likes to listen to other people's opinions, but we do. And you can get paid to complete surveys. So, and some of them are really interesting just to see what people are asking, what other companies like yourselves or government or anyone else wants to know from Canadians. You can be part of that panel. Already lost the clicker. All right. So we were the most accurate polling company in the 2019 federal election, which is really our way of testing ourselves. Because if we do a survey about consumption habits across Canada, we're telling you that these are the results. We believe these results to be true within a margin of error, but really, who knows? So elections are the one thing that we can predict and then see the actual result. And we were closest to the pin in this last election, which made us very proud. And then we also are obviously well-versed in Quebec and know the difference between Quebec and the rest of Canada. I know this is mostly an Ontario-focused event, but if you're ever launching in Quebec, this is a good book to read because there are so many differences with Quebecers. If you're interested more on that topic, see me after, and I can get you a copy of the book. All right, so for today, we were asked to do this talk, and so we wanted to have some fresh research. We wanted to have some fresh insights to give you today that no one else has seen up until now, except for maybe Amelia and Michelle. And so we did a survey using our panel and asked people what they've purchased or what they've eaten in the past 12 months. So we did 1,587 Canadians across the country, both languages, 18 and over. So we make sure when we do our online surveys that the people doing the surveys mirror Statistics Canada data. So we aren't overrepresented by older people or younger people or French versus English or people with children versus people who don't have children. We want to make sure that the results really reflect what you would see across the country. So we did this research. It's quite recent. We did January 17th to January 20th. We collected it. So really recent. So we asked people, which of the following foods have you consumed in the past 12 months? So for vegetables, the top 10, and I'm not sure if these are surprising to you or not, the top consumed vegetable for all Canadians was potatoes, followed by carrots, onions, that one surprised me, lettuce, tomatoes, broccoli, cucumbers, peppers, celery, and beans. We had the whole list, but these were the top 10. So these were all consumed by more than 74% of Canadians. This is past 12 months. I was just having a discussion with Michelle about how much fruit and vegetables people actually eat. Might not be a full serving, so this could be, you know, your kid tried broccoli, but maybe doesn't eat it every day or every week or not very much of it, but this is just overall they have consumed it in the past 12 months. Now for fruit. So top consumed fruit was apples. Oh, and I also know that tomatoes are a fruit, but I just couldn't put it on the fruit slide, I just couldn't. Apples, 85% of Canadians had an apple in the past 12 months. So there's 15% that aren't going with that age-old saying, an apple a day, doctor away. Strawberries are the next most popular fruit at 82%, followed by grapes, blueberries, raspberries, melons, peaches, cherries, and pears. So at least half have tried pears, and then more than half have tried all the other fruit in the past 12 months. So we asked about local fruit and vegetables and how much of a preference people put on buying local. So we asked them, to what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statement? I prefer to buy, and then the blank was filled in based on their province. So here you would have been asked, I prefer to buy Ontario vegetables when it's available. On average, people said that they prefer, 85% prefer buying their province's vegetables when it's available. Very similar number for fruit. So again, we asked, I prefer buying Quebec fruit when it is available. Again, it's the same number, 84%. Slightly higher in the Atlantic provinces for both fruit and vegetables, and slightly higher on the West Coast in BC and Ontario. Ontario is also quite high. But Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, maybe it's about availability, maybe it's about quality, I'm not positive, but it is much diminished compared to the other provinces for preference. Then we also asked, I only buy Ontario fruit and vegetables, or Quebec, or Atlantic Canada. And only 29% agreed that they only buy fruits and vegetables from their own province. So again, I mean, it's Canada. We have limited availability in certain months of the year, so people aren't always available or able to do that. But there is a pretty good chunk that will only buy from their province. That is higher, again, in Ontario and BC and Atlantic Canada. So we also asked whether or not they trust the fruit grown in their province. And by and large, people do trust the fruit and vegetables grown in their province. 90% agreed with that statement, which is a great endorsement. In Ontario, slightly higher at 92%, even higher in Atlantic Canada, 94%. Statements like this often skew high in Atlantic Canada. They're very positive people compared to the rest of the country. Very, in all their responses are always a little more enthusiastic than us. So I'm not surprised to see a slightly higher number there. But overall, a great endorsement for each province's fruit and vegetables. Again, it dipped a little in the prairies, could be availability. We also asked fruit and vegetables grown in their province are top quality. Number dips a bit, so it goes to 82%. Still a great endorsement, slightly higher in Ontario, Atlantic Canada, and BC again. But overall, they think their province's fruit and vegetable are top quality. We did ask, price is most important to me when purchasing fruits and vegetables. 75% agree with that statement. Not surprising, as income is lower, people are more price conscious. That isn't really surprising. But overall, about 3/4 say that price is the most important when purchasing produce. We also asked consumption behavior with plant-based meat products. That's becoming super trendy, I'm sure you all know. We're seeing the advertisements everywhere. People are selling it like Tim Hortons, then they're not selling it. It's hard to keep up. But 42% have tried plant-based meat products in the past 12 months, which is higher than it was a year ago. And that's, again, likely availability. It just seems to be everywhere and trendy, and people want to at least try it. So 2/5 have done so. Much higher by age. You can see here that the 18 to 34 category, 59% have tried plant-based meat products. That's quite significant. On the whole, it's 42%, but you can see there's a really swift decline. The 65 plus category, they're going to be a tough category to move to that to trying plant-based meat. Only 27% of those 65 plus have tried it in the past 12 months. All right, so we also asked what kind of dietary life choices they've made recently or are currently following. So 52% said that they're following some kind of diet, but the majority of those people, 37%, say it's a moderation diet. So all things in moderation, that all those people are not excessive about meat or vegetables, so not a, what's the name of that diet? No, I'm thinking the one that's named after the Atkins, thank you. So not an Atkins diet. You wouldn't say you're a moderate diet person if you're doing Atkins or following something like that. But we have, a variety of people trying a flexitarian diet, vegan, lacto-ovo-vegetarian, lacto-vegetarian, pescatarian, poultarian. Do you guys know what all these things are? Yeah, it's crazy. So a poultarian are people that only eat poultry. Pescatarian, they'll eat vegetables and dairy and fish, but no meat. A lacto-vegetarian, I think that they are also eating dairy. Lacto-ovo, I think they also eat eggs. And vegan is only vegetables and fruit and grains. And flexitarian, I actually can't remember the definition, but I can look that up for you. Only eat meat, okay, so moderation. Call it whatever you want to be. At any rate, there are some differences, a little bit. A smidge of women, 53% versus 50%, so almost the same. So they say that they follow a diet versus the men, but a similar amount saying that they follow none of the above. So not too much difference there. 40% do follow a diet that allows red meat. I'm not sure if this is as much of interest to you guys. 8% follow a diet that does not allow red meat. So that's growing over time. We've seen that shift a bit. In diets that cut out meat by age, again, it kind of matches that trajectory that we saw with the plant-based meat products, where the younger Canadians are more likely to say that they follow a diet that cuts out red meat. Right, so now have you consumed any beer, wine, or spirits in the past 12 months? And the highest was that 67% said that they consume wine, 62% consume beer, and 63% consume spirits. In total, 8 out of 10 Canadians say that they've consumed some sort of alcohol in the past 12 months. So in terms of wine, it was 67%, I believe. Yeah, 67% have had wine. 50% have had red wine, 50% have had white wine. If you're wondering why that doesn't add up to 67%, there are some people that try both or have had both. And there are some people that have only had one or the other in the past 12 months. For example, I have only had white wine in the past 12 months. So, okay, so in terms of the other types of alcohol, beer is up there at 57%. So 2 different types of wine, followed by more of the spirits, coolers, gin at the bottom of the list. There are some differences by gender. Women are more likely, or men are more likely to have had beer in the past 12 months. Whiskey and rum men are more likely to have had compared to women, whereas women are more likely to have had coolers in the past 12 months. Some of these things are not really surprising. Younger people also more likely to have premixed cocktails and rosé wine. And as people age, they're more likely to have white wine compared to the younger generations. Cannabis. 29%. I was a little surprised by this being up so high. This has definitely grown since it has become legal, but 29% have consumed cannabis in the past 12 months. Is that higher? Who thinks that's higher than they thought? Lower than they thought. Interesting. It is, so there are some age differences, but not as much as you'd expect. And it's not linear, or it's not a trajectory. So it is higher among the 18 to 34-year-olds. But there's a bit of a peak at the 55 to 64-year-olds at 31%, which is interesting. The 65-year-olds really pulling down the plant-based meat and cannabis numbers at 11%. They're a tough crowd to move. Men are more likely than women, quite significantly. I was also surprised by that. So 33% of men have had cannabis in the past 12 months versus only 26% of women. And income, lower income, which kind of ties in with age often, also more likely to have tried cannabis with lower income earning Canadians. Regionally, it is much lower in Quebec to have had cannabis in the past 12 months. BC's the highest at 36%, followed by Alberta, Atlantic Canada, and then the Prairies, and then Ontario. They're all pretty similar, but BC's highest at 36. And how did you consume cannabis? 19% smoked it, 14% ate it as like in like or something, 10% have used the oils, 5% have used the pills or the soft gels or the capsules, and then 3% have had the cannabis-infused beverages. And then the people we spoke to, like I mentioned earlier, kind of follow along with a StatsCan distribution in terms of gender, 51% women, 49% men, distribution of age, distribution across the country. Whether they own or rent their home, income levels, children in the household, about 28% of children under 18 in the household, varied education overall, and varied marital status. Does anyone have any questions for this part? So I'm going to move on to some results from a different survey that we did. Yes?
I just have a question about the cannabis. Did you break that out to medical versus recreational, or just cannabis in total?
So I think we just asked which of the following, if any, have you consumed in the past 12 months? And we would have just asked these ones, and then we did the net based on if they'd said yes to any of those, like specific ones. And then so again, like they're not going to add up to 29% because some people will have done more than one of those things or consumed it more than one way. But we didn't differentiate whether it was legal or medical versus from your guy or whatever. But the movement, we have done research on this topic extensively, and people didn't really we found that people who were consuming cannabis ahead of the legalization of it didn't really change their behavior, didn't suddenly think, oh, I'm going to go now buy legal or buy it through a legal channel versus the way they were buying it before.
No, I was thinking more like just medical versus
like medical grade. Yeah, no.
But I was wondering if that age breakdown would change.
Oh yeah,
medical.
It might, yeah. Yeah, and yeah, there might be some differences based on like the oils. You hear more like older people or people with injuries or that sort of thing. Yeah, so there's lots going on in that. We did do a lot of research like at when it was becoming legal for a lot of the different cannabis companies. But yeah, I was always a little concerned that there was going to be a bit of a bubble there. Like I kept saying to my boss, like, where are all these people that they think are, like, where are they coming from? Like, where's this market that's going to be so huge? And we've seen it grow a bit, but we haven't seen it grow to the level that people were kind of banking on, I think. So, yes.
It doesn't appear that you looked at ethnicity as a factor. We grow fresh vegetables, and we know that in the type of vegetables we grow, we attract a large ethnic group who don't care for prepackaged at this point. They'll buy prepackaged and whatever. I think it's just, for the most part, fruit vegetable growers. Did you look at ethnicity at all? Because it doesn't appear. You did age, urban, suburban, rural, but not ethnicity, which I think in Canada is becoming a factor, I would say.
Yeah, so we do, like, when people ask us to add that in, we do. we might have the data by that. I can check. We didn't present it by that, but I think our Omni, which is how we ask these questions, like a series of the tool itself, people can buy into 1 or 2 questions and they all get put together in the survey. So I think it does ask ethnicity, but I can follow up with you on that. We usually look for differences. If there's no differences, then we don't report on it. But you're right, people are asking for that more and more. I do some work for turkey farmers, chicken farmers, and that's a bigger interest for them because the way people cook those types of meat quite different, and the types of cuts they buy is quite different based on ethnicity. But certainly when you do studies in the US, that's a much bigger piece of it is the ethnicity. In Canada, we're not asking it as often, but we always do what people want it in there. Any other questions?
Just in fruit consumption, I did see bananas in the top 10. And that was
It's not the top 10. Yeah, let me see. We certainly had it in there, but we only reported on top 10. Go ahead. Nope, wasn't a top 10 fruit. It's beat out by pears. So less than half of Canadians eat bananas. Yes.
What about on vegetables? How did asparagus rank? Was that not top 10?
It wasn't top 10, but it was asked. Let me just check my notes while you're asking that question. I feel like there's some sort of difference.
While Lisa's checking her notes, if those that are standing at the back, there's seats here if you'd like to sit down.
There wasn't a difference for asparagus. Some of the vegetables and fruit were more likely to be consumed in certain provinces, but that wasn't one of them.
So it wasn't included on this.
No, we included it, but we just didn't get the top 10. It wasn't in the top 10. But if you want to know like where people are buying asparagus or what percentage, come and see me after and I can get that for you. Okay. Any other questions before I switch to my millennial data? No? Okay, so millennials are a big interest for a lot of people, a lot of marketers, a lot of different companies nowadays. So we did a large millennial study. They're quite different in their behaviors and their attitudes, the way they purchase. So we did a study across Canada, the largest of its size. I believe it included 3,000 millennials and Gen Z, which is, oh no, I don't have it. Millennials, I believe, are up to 23 to 37, I think, year olds. And then the Gen Z is younger than that. So we just wanted to understand like their motivations, their influences, why their purchasing habits, etc. We found a lot of interesting things. The most alarming for me personally is that 39% of millennials plan to leave their job in the next year. So if you employ millennials, better keep your HR on speed dial. And we're seeing that in our business and just in business in general. They're a tough group to keep employed and to keep happy. And the reasons that they leave are also quite unusual. So we did ask them about their purchasing habits, their buying behavior, and I thought I would include some of their results into this presentation because some of it is applicable. So we asked, do you prefer shopping locally or at major chains? So just to understand what their preferences are. And 42% say that they prefer independent retailers, and 42% said major chains. So 42% across the western part of Canada, including Ontario, are saying they want to buy local. In Quebec, it's 46%. That's not surprising based on everything we know about Quebecers. They like to keep within the province. And as Gen Z and millennials are older or aging, they are even more likely to say they want to buy local. So they're 46% versus the younger Gen Zs that are 13 to 19. They're only 32% likely your preference to buy local. So again, do you make a special effort or have you changed your purchase behavior in order to buy local products? 39% said they're willing to make a detour to buy a local product. 29% are willing to pay more for a local product. And 10% say they prefer to go without a product that is not produced locally. So that's not just fruit and vegetables, like this was a roundup of just purchase behavior, but I thought it would be interesting. And then we asked what's the main reason you want to buy local products? And especially as they move from Gen Z into older millennials, the main reason becomes even stronger, which is that they want to promote their local economy. So they want to do it for that reason. Product freshness or quality, also a top reason for this group. To reduce their environmental footprint is important to this group, but also even more important to the Gen Z and younger millennials compared to the 30 to 37-year-olds. To pay less is another reason for wanting to buy local. Barriers to buying local, price. Product availability and access is a problem as well. And then product freshness, they don't see a difference between local and outside products, or they don't know the brand, would be barriers to buying local. And that's it. So I think I was kind of within my time. Does anyone have any questions about the millennial data? This data is mostly on the Leger website, the millennial study, and it includes everything that I talked about, like the work stuff and their mental health and that kind of thing.